All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So we have some breaking Jets news coming out now in regards to the coaching search. The Jets have requested to interview Chiefs DC Steve Spagnuolo. Now, what's interesting, around 3-4 weeks ago, we were talking about him on the channel and really proposing or asking the question here, could this be the offseason where Spags hops back in the coaching carousel? Of course, it's a two-way street, right? Spags has to want to be a head coach and a team has to want him. And then, of course, the preceding interviews have to go well. But we don't really see his name pop up all that often, right? I mean, he hasn't been linked to the Bears. He has not been linked to the Raiders. He has not been linked to the Jaguars or the Saints, just the Jets. And you never really see his name pop up, again, in that coaching carousel. But when we look at what Spags has done with that Chiefs defense, it's been utterly phenomenal, right? They stop the run. They get after the passer. They constantly get in the backfield. They affect the quarterback. We see player development, right? This is not a team that is just throwing out splashy contract after splashy contract in free agency to these top tier guys and essentially saying, save us. We need the top tier talent to have to be successful, to have production on defense. No, that's not the case. Karlaftis, Chris Jones, McDuffie, the list goes on, right? This team drafts and develops players. Drafts and develops players. Of course, credit Veach, credit Borgonzi, credit Andy Reid. Let's be honest, it's not just Spagnuolo doing everything here, of course, right? But Spags is a part of it. And I think that needs to be talked about. Head coaching experience. Obviously, it didn't go well with the Rams, but what head coach are the Jets going to... Like, one thing I'm seeing a lot of is lots of fans are suggesting, hey, let's go out and hire someone who has been a head coach before. We want that experience. We don't necessarily want, and this isn't everybody, this is just a subset of Jets fans, let's not go after the first-year guy, the Liam Cohen, the Joe Brady, the Aaron Glenn, because you don't want to run the risk of hiring someone who maybe can't handle a locker room, maybe the job or the city or Woody Johnson. It's just going to be too much pressure. It's too big of a job. And you don't want to, the Jets aren't in a position to roll the dice on a first year guy. You want kind of that established, veteran, experienced head coach that can look back at his past mistakes, look back at his past successes and say, this is what went well. This is somewhere where I struggled, and this is how I would, try to come up with solutions or remedies in my future gig. But the problem is, a lot of these coaches that are being talked about, right, in order to have head coaching experience, somehow along the way, that coach has been fired, and they've been fired for a reason. And, so the point is, we're talking about all these ex-head coaches, Brian Flores, Arthur Smith, Steve Spagnuolo. There's been quite a bit of candidates that have been linked to the New York Jets that have had that head coaching experience, but it seems like no one is... Matt Nagy's another one. No one's really sold on them because of what happened in their last gig. And again, whether there's a million different arguments, right? Arthur Smith, lack of leadership, lack of creativity on the offensive side of the football, couldn't find a quarterback. Matt Nagy fell apart in the end, didn't work well with Justin Fields. That just kind of felt like, although it started fantastic for the Bears, it just kind of fell off a cliff. He was kind of going back and forth with the media at times. Again, you can poke holes in any candidate you want. Even Mike Vrabel, you can poke holes in his resume as well. Point is, though, head coaching experience should be valued. I do think that is a massive positive here. But with that understanding, it's not like the Jets are going to be, trading for Kevin O'Connell or getting Sean McVay. All of these coaches come with a blemish. In order to have that head coaching experience and to be on the open market, it probably didn't go well in one way or another. I think the only exception is Pete Carroll, who stepped away. That was kind of like a mutual parting of ways with the Seattle Seahawks, and he's actually interviewing with the Chicago Bears tomorrow, which is pretty interesting. In any case, I think Spags is an interesting option. I'm pumped about the hire. He knows the area. He spent a lot of time with the New York Giants. He has the relationship with Mike Borgonzi. Could that be a potential pairing? We did a video earlier today talking about Borgonzi and Matt Nagy. Why those two? Of course, same organization, but they're interviewing back to back today. Obviously, those two guys know each other really, really well, and they both check a lot of the different boxes. This is not necessarily me campaigning for Matt Nagy, just simply pointing out the facts. Spagnuolo, you could bring every single argument to the table, for Matt Nagy, with Spags as well. So I think this is realistic. I could see this happening, especially if Borgonzi's the guy. Of course, with Spagnuolo, though, we have to ask the question, what's happening on the offensive side of the football? Take any defensive guy, Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Mike Vrabel, right? I know it's a long shot, but still, any defensive guy, we have to ask the question, who's the OC? What's the offensive scheme? Who's going to, have the biggest say in the quarterback position? What is the plan on offense? Saleh did not have a plan. Todd Bowles, it just felt, like he's just throwing OCs at the wall, seeing what sticks, and we're, in this constant cycle. Chan Gailey, John Moore, all these different guys, right? So we'll see what happens with Spags. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you prefer, would you be okay with a Borgonzi and a Spagnuolo potential pairing here? I do find it interesting that the day that the Jets are interviewing Mike Borgonzi, we also put in an interview to interview Spagnuolo. That could have been done a while ago, right? That could have, look at all the, the 9-10 different head coaching candidates that the Jets have requested to interview, and Spags wasn't in there. He wasn't in that group, and the Chiefs are the 1 seed, so he can interview early. We don't have to wait for him. And now the day that we're talking to Borgonzi, the day that we're talking to Matt Nagy, the 2 Chiefs, now all of a sudden the Jets have some interest here. Could a question been asked in the interview? Who are your potential head coaching candidates that you would look at, Mike? Could Spagnuolo be one of those names? Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.